I'm going on Starlux tonight. Alright, my chariot approaches. Or, well, has approached. Woo. We're in Taiwan. 14 hours of flying later, and I am officially in Taiwan. Yeah, that was a great flight. I think, honestly, Starlux is a 12 out of 10 experience. I mean, I may look like a mess, but that's probably because I just spent 14 hours in a metal can. Yeah, I slept a full 8 hours. The food was great. The quality of the plane was amazing. And now I'm here in Taiwan. And the time is 5:16 a.m. Now, when I left SFO, I pointed out that all the Taiwan flights seem to leave around the same time. They do. And the downside of this is that they all get into Taiwan at like 5 in the morning, just like my flight did. So that means that about 4, 5, 6 plane loads of people are all bearing down on immigration right now. And at 5 in the morning, they often don't have that many immigration officers. So right now, what I'm trying to do is make my way to immigration before the entire crowd does, to see if I can get in and out as fast as possible. I basically have 3 things on my to-do list. 1, get through customs and immigration. 2, get my SIM card for my phone. And then 3, I enrolled for this tourism campaign called Taiwan the Lucky Land, where lucky people can enter a lottery to get $150 worth of like transit cards, stuff like that. I won the lottery last time, so I was very happy with that. This time we'll see if I have the same kind of luck. On the ground at 5:15, out of customs and everything at 5:40, my best time yet. Anyway, in front of me is Taiwan the Lucky Land, so I'm gonna see how lucky I am today. You have to register online in advance, then you come over here, and let's see how lucky I am. You scan a QR code and like, oh, I guess I didn't get it. Oh well. So as a campaign launched in 2022, it's currently 2025, so they cut down on the number of wins that they give out, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Alright, well, after that devastating loss, eSIM time. So apparently the SIM desks don't open until 6, so in an effort to do something that isn't just sitting around, I'm gonna try to catch the inter-terminal train to Terminal 1. Currently I'm in Terminal 2, and there's a little airport train, because what else do I do at airports besides ride silly little trains? SkyTrain to Terminal 1. The SkyTrain is up this way. So the Taiwan SkyTrain is actually kind of interesting. There's 2 variants. They run on either side of the terminal. But what's interesting is, in the 2 cars, one car is for people who haven't cleared security, while the other one is. Now, the other interesting feature is that this SkyTrain is like tucked away in a small corner of the departures hall. I'm currently in like an annex used by EVA Air for their surplus check-ins, but I am following the signs, so I should get a little train ride today. Overnight, you can call the train on demand instead of on headway service. Give you a countdown of how many seconds you have left before the train leaves. Huh. So yeah, this train is a little fascinating because right now I'm in the unsterile zone, the unrestricted area, and the very next car, these are all passengers that have cleared security. So it's one train, but it's like 2 separate zones of the airport. You can't ride the other car unless you've cleared security, which I think is interesting. Anyway, it is now 6:03, so hopefully the SIM card desks are open and I can get an eSIM and move on with my day. Now, Since I failed to get my free Taiwanese government money, I now have to actually fill up my own transit card with cash like a peasant. So that's being added to the list of things that I have to do before I leave the airport. As I said, it is currently 6 in the morning and hotel check-ins start at 4, 3, later in the day at typical hotel check-in times. My destination of the day is Taiwan. So, to spend as much time as possible, I have a bit of a creative route plotted out. Ooh, Doom Stairwell? At least this one has like pretty art. There's a cute little SkyTrain I rode. And the much smaller line for the eSIMs. Alrighty, $15 for 10 days of unlimited data. Now, it's on to the airport MRT. The airport MRT from Taiwan Airport goes to 2 places. You can go up towards Taipei in about 45 minutes, or you can go down towards Zhongli, which is a much smaller city. I'm going to go towards the smaller city. If I were to do the Taiwan Airport to Taichung in one shot, it would be about 2 hours on the bus, or I could spend like 2 hours on the bullet train and everything. But that would be so efficient and out of character for me. Instead, I've crafted up a nice lengthy list, a nice lengthy list of local trains and buses that will get me there around 4:30 in the afternoon. First step is to hop on the MRT towards the last station to the south. MRT. Now, one of the interesting things about the Taiwan MRT is that they run express services. The express services, the majority of the express services go to Taipei Main Station from Terminal 2. But every so often, a couple times a day, a train goes further south to Huanbei, the old terminus of the MRT. And I'm trying to catch one of them, but the problem is it leaves in 25 minutes. So now I gotta figure out how to kill 25 minutes. Oh well. Okay, I did like 30 seconds of thinking, and I've decided I'm going to take a local train to the Taiwan HSR MRT station, and then from there catch the express further down. It does kind of suck having to get a new card, because that's extra money, but it's Taiwan MRT themed. See, frequency-wise, it does pretty well. Let's see. This is for Taipei, for Zhongli. My train, the 642, and then the 652 is one of the express services that continues. There's the 622, 652, 737, 837, and then they take a break until the afternoon peak. So kind of an odd service pattern. One of the biggest frustrations with the Taiwan Metro is that it ends about a 15-minute walk away from the main TRA, Taiwan Railways Administration station in Zhongli. So that's like a huge misconnect, because otherwise people's national rail options are either go to Taipei, which is a 45-minute journey northwards, or catch the high-speed rail, which is convenient in some cases. It's just that this is such a like tiny misconnect that it's a little frustrating. Originally the plan was for the trains to continue all the way to Zhongli Station, but due to some like, I don't know, construction work stuff, it got delayed until, I want to say the 2030s, so gonna be a while. So we are currently at A12. We're gonna hop on a local train to A18, and then from there, the express to Huanbei, and then another local to A22. Something interesting about the express trains is that they have a dedicated luggage car. I think there are very few places in the world where you can see an actual subway train with a dedicated luggage car. Here comes my train. No luggage cart on the back though. Close to the high-speed rail station. The Swedish cast their nets wide and far. Alright, short ride later. It's 7:09 a.m. I'm sorry, 7:01 a.m. The commuter train has dropped me off here at the HSR high-speed rail Taoyuan station. Now I could get on a high-speed rail train and be in Taichung in less than an hour, but where's the fun in that? So instead, I'm catching the next express train to Huanbei. So, one interesting little discrepancy about this service pattern is that in 2020 something, the Taiwan MRT expanded to Laojie River, which is the official terminus of the line. Local trains and the commuter trains that, well, the local trains are called commuter, they terminate there. But the express trains that are extended there only go as far as Huanbei, which is the penultimate stop. I think this is a holdover from before Laojie River was opened, but it's just kind of odd that that's the case. But either way, I'm hopping on an express train, just one stop to Huanbei, and then I'll hop back on another local train to get to the end of the line. The weather is crazy nice today. It's like nice and cool. Such a contrast from the last time I was here.
Huanbei Station. Next station, the terminal station, Huanbei Station. Thank you for taking Taoyuan Metro. Who will you meet?
Skipping our first station. Cooking. See the high-speed rail line there. It's not hard to see why this train is so empty, because Huanbei is very much a peak kind of destination, and right now I'm on a reverse peak train. A lot of people went to the high-speed rail station, so that's why it like is a good express train. But like for that one section between the high-speed rail and the terminus, just me.
Terminal
we're at the
station.
terminal
Huanbei Station. Please don't forget your personal
And we're
belongings
underground.
while alive. Thank you for taking Taoyuan Metro.
So, something interesting that I learned, because my express train is just turning back and going to Taipei, it sits here for 10 minutes, blocking off one of the two tracks. So that means, on the Taipei-bound track, the train's gonna like reverse run. My local train to Laojie River is going to like reverse run, because there goes a Taipei-bound train, and then next one in 10 minutes should be mine. Okay, I've made the executive decision that instead of standing around and waiting for a train, I'm gonna go up to the surface and take a bus into town, because I would only take the train for like one stop and it's all underground, so not all that interesting. But if I take the bus, then I get to see some scenery. Alright, they charge me 65 NT, that's like $2 upwards to the surface. Wow. Now, it is kind of fun that I popped out here at Huanbei because, well, in Taiwan, bus transit centers, the way they are in America, they aren't really the same. Space is a very limited commodity here. So often, bus transit stations are like very tight, like back in, like drive out situations, you know, very tight operations. Prepare for a whole day of me not really being able to talk. But at Huanbei Station, there's like a whole transit plaza, lots of space. So from here, I'm going to catch the Route 135 bus. That's going to take me to the Zhongli main bus stations, because that is what I came to Zhongli to check out. I want to see their very tight bus stations. Now, one of the other annoying things about buses in Taiwan is that they don't really believe in schedules here. They believe in times that buses take off from their terminal stops, but then time points are non-existent. So Google Maps data is often very confused or very inaccurate just because of how traffic is here. So a lot of these bus systems rely on live tracking, but it just gets very frustrating. Either way, I see a bus here right now, the 1A. I think I can take that. It looks kind of crowded though. Oh, signs in Korean, cool. Oh, this is 100% someone's school tripper. That bus is packed. Here's a bus that terminates here. Let's see if I can take this. 你好，你要去火车站附近吗？
对啊。
好。Here's the new terminus. Crazy unprotected turn to have to make. That was fun. Alright, I have gotten off the bus at the first bank. I thought it would be the next stop, but the bus driver was like, yo, train station's this one, so I was like, okay. Anyway, this was my ride. And now I'm here in downtown Zhongli, basically. I'm gonna walk a little bit towards the train station because that is where the main bus station is. I have a bus that I want to catch at 8:20 today. That bus is going to take me deep into the, I don't know, not really deep, but it's just gonna take me somewhere. And there goes my bus. Now, by the train station, 3, maybe 4 bus companies have their main bus stations here. So that's what I came here to check out. Right in front of me is the Taoyuan bus main station. I think it's just a side of the road affair for this company, but there's some other ones that have crazier situations lined up. Actually, I stand corrected. This is the Taoyuan bus Zhongli main station. Wow, it's just underneath the side of a big department store kind of hall. Here's a bus laying over. That's where all the bus bays are. And then there's some buses parked back there. Another bus pulled up behind it. So I guess they just gotta form a line and see who gets out first. It seems like the layover facilities here, the buses are forced to pull in and then back out and then wedge themselves into the stop there. For example, here comes one now. The buses have to back out into a open intersection. No spotter. Wow. That was definitely cool. I got to see a bus doing some crazy stuff. I think I'm about to see a bus do something crazy again. I was just pulling in. Anyway, what a tight situation. So I'm going to walk further down the road and see some other tight bus stations. And right down the road here is another bus station. These ones, they at least get a spotter. So this bus station belongs to Guoguang Bus, which is like the long-distance bus operator in Taiwan, and it's also shared with the Zhongli buses. There's a lot of like private transit agencies that operate certain routes, and as such, they all have different places to lay over their buses. This one is slanted like pull-in, pull-out situation, where they just have to do that into an open road. Could not pay me to be a driver here. Down this small alleyway where there is motorcycle parking, there actually used to be an even crazier bus station. It was operated by the Xinzhou Bus Company, and it required drivers to alley dock their buses in this incredibly tight street here. So the buses would like pull in, and then they would have to back into the bus stops. It's all gone now, and it's just motorcycle parking, which is unfortunate. But if you go on Street View, you can actually see the old pictures of the situation. In fact, for those of us who can read Chinese, on the building up here, you can see the old Xinzhou Bus Company. And now it's motorcycle parking. Yeah, this one barely had to back out. Cool. Oh, and here comes the Taoyuan bus barreling down the street. And speaking of Taoyuan bus, right next to here is another terminal station run by, I believe, the same company. So a lot of transit options for buses to park here. Right over here are the train lines where they're doing some sort of construction, and over here is its only terminal station. Here comes what I might describe as a baby bus. And look at how cute it is. The buses basically just like circle the building, and they have parking options there and there. Oh, and a special treat, I get to see an EMU 900 today. These run on local services on the Taiwan Railways network. There goes the baby bus, backing into a parking spot. So, assuming Google Maps didn't lie to me, which, as we know, is always a distinct possibility, in 17 minutes, I will be hopping on a bus out of that terminal station to another town called Xinwu. And the reason I picked this town is because there's another bus station. Yes, I'm going to be focusing on bus stations a lot this trip, but I'm going to Xinwu on a bus, and it should leave from that station in 20 minutes. I spotted a breakfast option. $1 later, I got an extremely fresh scallion pancake. It is green onions and fried bread, and you can literally never go wrong with green onions and fried bread. Anyway, here's the bus. Wow. Alright, made it back to the bus stop with 10 minutes to spare. Oh, and with perfect timing too. This is my bus. Up here you can see the bus schedules. They're doing the yelling for the bus, which I suppose I should join. On board we go. Look at this entrance. Wow. Wow. What a bus stop this is. So that was my ride on the 5035, and now I'm here at the Taoyuan Bus Xinwu station. The town of Xinwu really doesn't have a whole lot going on. It's a pretty quiet residential place. This bus station doesn't have a whole lot either. It is a yard and a family mart. So I'm going to walk around a little bit and then take advantage of the bus station's family mart and then see what I do from there. This area is also on the flight path for Taoyuan Airport because we're still in Taoyuan County. Alright, I made it back. This station is literally just like an alleyway. Wow. There goes another 5035. rusty. The 5035 certainly seems to be a very frequent route. This is the Xinwu station. Out here on street level, there's like schedules, waiting room. This says something about like go up to the second floor for other tire and bus related things, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that today. Bus standing at the Family Mart. Milk tea and a bus on the sidewalk. The bus is literally on the sidewalk. Wow. Here goes a new bus. Yeah, this terminal is wild. It's just a parking lot where you can hit everything. There's a driver who's very happy to be on camera. We chatted a little bit. He was very nice. Oh, there goes the bus into the station. And there he goes. So right now it is currently 9:23. I'm sitting in the street side waiting area of the Xinwu bus stop. Definitely getting a lot of weird looks because I don't think Americans with cameras walk around here very often, but one driver was really happy to talk to me. That was fun. I imagine I would be a better conversationalist if I wasn't running on like 8 hours. Okay, I did get a fair amount of sleep. On a low amount of plane sleep. But anyway, it's currently 9:23. I have a bus out of here at 10:06, so I certainly have a lot of time to sit here and be a little foamer. Yeah, we'll see what I choose to do next. I really want to get a shot of a bus entering the station, so I'm kind of camped out here waiting for that. Oh, interesting. So the 5035 that I took here doesn't run on a schedule. I see it runs every 5 to 20 minutes, just off the vibes. What an interesting bus terminal. Just looping in, looping out. That's a clunker. No, clunker's parking. Wow. Oh, wow. What is going on? I've made the decision that I've loitered here for long enough. I don't know what the dude's doing, revving up his bus like that, but I'm now on to my next mission, which is to hit up the Fugong TRA station. To get there, I can take a bus called the L601. This is a bus called the Lohas bus. It is free, I believe. To the best of my understanding, it's one of those free little circulators, and it uses minibuses. So I have to walk a fair bit because it's operated by a different company than this one. Taiwan pedestrianism strikes again. There's a nice little park path. Oh, wow. Alright, well, made it to the district offices. This is where I'll wait for my bus. Ooh, welcome to Xinwu sign. I have been welcomed. As I'm getting ready to leave. A moderate amount of plane spotting is still taking place. Let's go to the train station. Malabong pa na ilang problema dyan. Wala ako mas process na diretso na malak na. Cute little mural on us 7-Eleven.
Tapos maging ready ka na sa exam kasi yung free evaluation.
And here I am at the train station. Yeah, that was a very popular ride through a very rural area. Maybe they should run it more than hourly and maybe give it a bigger bus. Anyway, I'm continuing my journey southwards here now that I'm back reconnected to the Taiwanese railway network. I'm going to take a local train down towards Hsinchu, one of the major cities along the route. Looks like the next one is 11:47, late 4 minutes. Now, Fugang is a rather small railway station. It only gets local services, but it still has 4 platforms and a bunch of work trains just stationed all around here. I'm getting on a local train to Hsinchu because, well, Hsinchu is a rather big city. I am lacking in certain things that I need to buy. One being a new wallet. My wallet just broke and the zipper is like non-functional, so I need to fix that. 2, I want a new camera tripod. I've had mine for quite a few years now, it's falling apart. And then 3, I want to see if I can get a storage disk. Hsinchu is famous for being close to the TSMC microchip factory headquarters. I don't know if that'll affect like computer part prices, but it's worth a shot. Anyway, old decrepit railway equipment here. I really wonder how TRA does their operations with their old work trains. So they just like dump them on a siding and they're like, well, never mind. See y'all later. Interesting. Here we have some other railway equipment. It's like, does this stuff operate? Here's a northbound local train, EMU 900. And a train pulling through. And so it appears I get an EMU 900 today. There is a freight train going by on the opposite side. This makes me sad. Train has some passenger cars. And so I decided to get off one stop in at Hsinchu instead of Hsinchu. Why? Because this stop is directly next to the TRA's main rolling stock workshop. So you can actually just like look at the platform and look at all the train cars that are there. And the next local train is only 12 minutes away. So I have enough time to be a little filmer and then still not lose too much time. Oh, interesting. No entry unless you're TRA. Well, I'm going just to the other platform. Now, the Hsinchu station is a little bit notorious in the Taiwanese rail fan community because this platform is so narrow they had to implement fences because this rail line right here is the West Coast main line. And it has trains every like 2 minutes speeding through it, however fast they go on here. So, this is kind of an unsafe situation, but they put these in, and on that side is a good view of the rolling stock yard. Today it doesn't seem like anything interesting is going on. There's an EMU 900 over there, EMU 700 and 500, typical local rolling stock. The rail fanning continues though, as here comes a EMU 3000. This is the fastest type of train run by TRA right now. Highest priority, highest class. It's not all that exciting, but I think it's a quirky little station. Quirky little Taiwan Railways Easter egg. And I'm going to cross over to the other side so I can catch my train to continue down towards Hsinchu. And back up I go. Oh, I get no points for variety today as I'm in yet another EMU 900. Alright, I made it to the Hsinchu station, which is famous for having a very pretty station building. It'll focus on that. And there's also an EMU 800 there. Fun fact, my least favorite type of local train equipment. So, my EMU 900 terminates here and just goes back towards, goes back up north. I have an hour and 20 minutes until my next scheduled activity. So in that time, I'm gonna try to take a bus to a department store to see if I can grab the things that I need. Fun fact, there is a solid sushi place within the train station with some great prices too. 33. Alright, my boots are officially on the ground in Hsinchu. The station building is behind me, and one interesting thing about the Hsinchu buses is that they use some type of bus that I've never seen anywhere else in Taiwan. It kind of looks like an alien front. There's one parked over there getting ready to make a turn, so I'll have to turn the camera around and you'll see what I mean. It's giving Van Hool. You do get to see the Van Hool dupe bust a weird little turn. I found a place outside of the train station that might sell what I'm looking for. $5 later, I bought a new wallet. Okay, another train station front buy. I don't even need to go anywhere anymore. This cost me $3, so I'm not exactly too heartbroken if it doesn't work all that well. But yeah, just bought it right in front of the train station too. Now, people who may have known me in real life have known that I've run this thing into the ground, so probably best that I retire it. Anyway, it seems like the buses just all kind of stage along the road here, and this is where they lay over instead of a weird, crazy turnaround area. So this does beg the question what I should do now, because I just bought 2 out of the 3 things that I need, and I'm not sure if I'd find a hard drive at a random mall in central Hsinchu. So I still have about 50 minutes until my bus is scheduled to leave. So let's see what I should do with my time. Or no, sorry, I have an hour and 10 minutes. Like, there's never gonna be anything wrong with bus banning. There's so many Van Hool dupes. In the interest of doing something, I think I'm going to go back to another bus station that's along the side of the road, try to catch one of the Van Hool dupes, see where it takes me, and then see if I can navigate myself back towards this stop before 12:40. Oh, it's just backing on in there. Now what is a pilot bus? Well, you can see remnants of a time when they would have had more bus schedules for everything and actual waiting areas, I guess. So I think this may be my bus. This is the blue one shuttle. I'm just gonna take it to the park and then walk back to the train station from there. So let's see if it is my bus. This is my bus. Anyhow. Holy what a driver. That was an experience. Yeah, he definitely got a little impatient that I was taking so long to fumble for my yo-yo card, but oopsies. Anyway, we are here at the Sinzu Park. It is 12:02, T-minus 38 minutes, so I have 38 minutes to walk back to the train station. So I'm gonna take a detour through this little park here. I feel like my camera really fails to do that man's driving justice. I've never seen a bus get so close to so many things. I've also never jumped off of a moving bus before, so thank you, Sinzu Bus Company, for helping me tick that one off my bucket list. That is a crazy amount of turtles. So another reason I had such a transit fumble in getting my card was because Google Maps and the bus route apparently have conflicting views of reality, where the bus route took a certain road and took a shortcut essentially to get to this bus stop, and then it also showed a different bus stop than the one that was reported on the Google GTFS. But you know what? I'm here. I do not care anymore. I jumped off of a moving bus, and that's all that matters. So the next stage of my journey southbound involves 2 local buses, but really they're long distance buses. The next county down south is Miaoli County, and their buses reach Sinzu. So I'm going to take 2 of their buses to get to Miaoli, and I'm going to be transferring at a bus station in Taiwan. This is a very, much like Sinwu, it's kind of a boring little city, but it has an interesting bus station that I want to see. So I'm going to catch the 5807 to Taiwan, then I'll catch the 5801 to Miaoli. Wow, it's a nice little park. Wonder when the next bus is. Do we have live tracking here? Aha! We do. Okay. I might be better off walking. Alright, with the next bus not scheduled to get in until over an hour from now, it's my good old Chevrolet legs bringing me back to the station. Van Hoeldoop. They're everywhere. Oh my god. Train park. We're coming by the long distance bus station on the other side of the tracks of Sinzu Station. So all the buses are just laying over here. So over here we have the Sinzu Freeway bus station, which is a pretty standard long distance bus station. You know, it's got the slanty pull-in spots. Going underground to get across the street. Alright, one of these red, white, and blue buses will be mine. Yeah, my chariot approaches. It's a new bus. Well, could be worse. Bus station. And why might I find it interesting? Well, that's the exit right there. So, triumphantly, tiredly, I've made it to the Tofan bus station. This is a town in deep Miaoli County, which is known for being pretty rural. There isn't a whole lot here. Deep in the mountains, there's one of Miaoli's bigger tourist attractions, but I'm not going there today. And instead, I'm just here transferring to another bus. The whole reason I wanted to come to this bus station is just that this, like, alleyway exit. I don't know, I just think it's kind of interesting. My transfer here is only 30 minutes, so we'll see if I get to see a bus coming in and out. Battery bus. Now, my next bus will hopefully be one of the more interesting buses that I take. It's supposed to take a route that goes through the mountains to get to Miaoli, which is my next destination. Yeah, it leaves in 25 minutes-ish. What's interesting is that this terminal station is on the midpoint of the route, so I don't actually know what time it's really going to get in here. I just have a vague idea. So I'm not going to stray too far. I'm just going to make sure I make my bus. Tofan has a big tea business, so that's one of the things that's emphasized in this little courtyard. It's currently about 1:30 p.m. If we're going by Taiwan time, I've been awake since 1 a.m. Taiwan time, since that's about when I woke up on the plane. The EB sleepies are starting to hit, but I must power through to bully myself into not being as jet lagged as possible. This bus station really is blink and you'll miss it. Here it is. Inside the waiting area, you have a pretty standard affair, you know, bunch of benches, place for people to sit. Apparently the Mormons have a ranch up here. Anyway, I'm catching the 5801. You can see with the board that has time stickered on by magnets. My bus should leave at 13:50. Not my bus, but whew, whipping it in the coach bus. This high floor clunker may be mine. Yep, this mine. Well, after a windy ride through the mountains, here I am in Miaoli. We got here a full 10 minutes early. And the reason I am here is one, to transfer to TRA so I can complete my last little segment into Taiwan. But two, there's another bus station. Now, the Miaoli buses have their own bus station further down in town, but it's really inconvenient to get there, so I didn't really, like, spend the time required to get there. But behind me is the Shinzu Bus Company bus station. Now, this is a bus terminal that's very similar to Jamaica 165th Street. It seems a little quiet right now, so I don't know when the next pullout is going to be, but that bus just turned on, so maybe soon. Insane amount of distance to have to back up. I also apparently got the bus company wrong. These are not Shinju buses. These are a whole different bus company. I'm not sure whose. About 40 minutes, there's an express train that I have my eye on. So right now, what I'm gonna do is head into the station and get a ticket, and then I'll be on my way to Taichung in 40 minutes. Man, I love Taiwanese train stations. These are so nice. Okay, apparently it's all sold out for seats, but the nice thing about this type of express train in Taiwan is that it's one of the highest priority, highest class trains, but of that higher priority, it's the lowest class, which means that you can get away with using your yo-yo card and just tapping on and then standing the rest of the way. So that's what I'm gonna do. Miaoli is a station made for foamers. Now, one of the reasons that Miaoli is so foamer friendly is that down this way, there's a rather sizable collection of old TRA equipment, a railway museum. It's been closed for many years for construction. As you can see, they are making some significant progress to it. Yeah, lots of new buildings, so hopefully I can come back one day and enjoy it, but today's not that day. Heading off to Old Reliable for a snacky snack. Goods acquired. Let's go sit around on the platform. Okay. The Miaoli station also has railway work equipment, but this looks a lot more well used. So the Zijianhao, this type of train right here, is the most common type of express train in Taiwan. It is also the highest priority of all the trains on the network. Normally, these trains are called PP sets because they are operated with push-pull locomotives. Those push-pull locomotives were built in South Africa in the 90s, I believe, and are starting to show their age. But the rolling stock otherwise is perfectly fine. So TRA bought some E500 locomotives. These are very new locomotives that they're now slapping on these trains. They put 2 of them on each train, and it's a new train. This is also interesting because these E500s can be used on freight services and other locomotive hauled services across the island, so they're very versatile versatile locomotives compared to the previous push-pull locomotive sets, which were dedicated to this type of train. On Fridays, like today, these trains turn into 12-car sardine cans, which I am assuming is what I'm roping myself into. But in theory, I'll only be going like 2 stops, 40 minutes, so whatever. At worst, I can just get off at the next stop and call it a day. Oh, wow. Anyway, there it goes. These new locomotives have some crazy acceleration. Damn. Okay, that's actually insane. I get a more traditional approach today. Now, it does look pretty crowded inside already, but the strat is to always go to the very end of the train where there's no one.
Next stop, Bongyuan.
Over here is the new Maui Train Museum. They moved it inside. South Africa. The South Africans, they made some damn good trains, but they really are starting to show their age. All day, every day, massive 12-car sets powered by these locomotives just zip up and down the railway network across the entire island. It's incredible. They move, too. Like, these trains get up to speed and they go. 12 cars always packed to the brim. Oh, what it must be like to live in a place with actual railway infrastructure. Parked on a siding track is an EMU 3000, some of TRA's shiny new toys. I'm not a huge fan. They feel a little too sterile for me. There's something about the locomotive hauled trains that, I don't know, they just have an inexplicable nice quality to them. Anyway, I'm here in Taiwan. It is currently 4:15 p.m. I was on the ground at 5:15 a.m. This is the story of how I turned a 2-hour trip into an 11-hour ordeal, but it was so worth it. Anyway, here in Taiwan, and now my station side accommodations. I'm staying in the City Inn Hotel while I'm in Taiwan. Hotel time. I am in 809 today. Ooh. No view, but you know what? I like what I see. So, after an extremely long day, I mean, I haven't slept since I woke up in Davis at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. It's currently 4:30 on Friday. Anyway, big travel, very fun, very tired, very worth. I'm so happy to be back in Taiwan, so lucky to be here. Should be a good week of some very niche content surrounding Taiwanese bus stations. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Goodbye.